Today, I am here with Kim Barber, an intuitive healer, author, poet, and pure clear channel for the divine, envisioning the new earth, one where all are in remembrance of all that is, that dwells within each one of us, a world where all are living in abundance, which in truth is our birthright. Joining me from Pennsylvania, Kim shares the tools that were shared with her by the master powers of the universe from the divine to assist you in raising your own consciousness and live a more balanced, joyful, and abundant life. I'm Jennifer Regular, your host for Awaken and Ascend. I'm super excited for Kim Barber joining me right now. Welcome, Kim. I'm so happy that you're here.
Thank you so much, Jennifer, for having me. I'm so grateful to be here.
Yeah, this is fun. This is exciting because we're going through some really exciting times. This
Yes,
new
we are.
earth, as you call it, and others have too. And I'd love to hear a little bit more about that, but also about your journey on this earth and what brought you into this place and how you felt open to receive what was coming through from the divine masters, the powers that be, and what you find is happening right now in this moment
Okay.
for all of us.
Okay. For me, my journey started literally December 21st, 2012. Um, that day.
Wow.
Yes, and as we all know, the divine is always in charge and command, the I am presence, right? But sometimes when and I was dead asleep, what we call asleep, and I was going about my life as a mother and a wife, and all of a sudden, I got whammied, and I did it to myself because I am the I am, right? So it was time to wake up to get going on my path, on my divine blueprint and my soul mission for this lifetime, and so. I orchestrated it all as the I am that I am, as we each all are. But at the time, I didn't know that, So I literally was staying at my mother's house and with my son. Recently had been separated, and we're good friends now, of course, but we couldn't go on our contract had ended, our soul contract, and we were just going different ways. And uh sleeping one night, just I won't get too much into it, but yeah, I had I had a psychic attack basically. But it's all good. I prayed instantaneously and instinctually to God, and all was well after that moment. And Archangel Michael was right by my side. But that really got me going on a spiritual quest. I had so many transcendental experiences right after that because they wanted me, my team, my I am presence and my divine team, as I call it, wanted me to keep searching. So I read every book I could get my hands on. And I have a good friend who has a spiritual store down the street and a beautiful library she has of books for sale and crystals and crystal bowls and all kinds of things. And I walked in there one day and there were three wise women by the register. And I said, hello, ladies, can you help me? Because there's a lot going on here and I have no clue what's going on. They said, come this way. We know exactly what's happening. And they kind of took me under their wing. And I read every book almost in that place. A lot of Louise Hay books, Matt Kahn books, and Neil Donald Walsh books, and Course of Miracles books I touched upon, and just so many sacred texts, and just trying to get a grasp on what was happening to me. I wanted to, because knowledge was power, and it was I wanted to get a grasp on it because I was fearful in the beginning, in all honesty, because I had that psychic and I was not comfortable. But I'm grateful for every experience I've ever had, I'm having now, never will have, because it's brought me to where I am in this now moment, and knowing who I am, the great I am, as we each all are. And yeah, so that's what kickstarted my journey. And then I was led, synchronicity started to come into play in a major way in my life. And I would take a walk with this woman who was a neighbor, and she was a star seed, and she started saying, you need to come to this class with me. A woman is channeling Archangel Raphael. She's a pure clear channel since the harmonic convergence in 1987. And in 1989, she had some network chiropractic work. now this day, she's a good friend of mine, Kelly Kolodny. She channels the angel Raphael. And you can find her almost everywhere, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. And I went to her class, and I was the first one. I think the angel said, she was channeling and said, "What is it?" And I raised my hand and I said, "Angel Raphael, what is going on with me?" And Raphael said,
Yeah.
"You are going through an awakening and you're starting your ascension journey, and you're awake now, and all this has been for your benefit, and you have a row of ascended masters lined up behind you, and you're a spontaneous direct healer, and blah blah blah." But well, I was intrigued after that, right? So it got me hooked. And I said, and she at the time was giving individual sessions. And so I signed up, and for years, I think 7 or 8 years, I went every month, and as did my son and many of my friends in the area where we live in Pennsylvania. She just is 20 minutes down the road from me, but now she's worldwide. And so I have actually, since 2013, 14, I had been in class with her and Raphael. She's given different things, and now she's worldwide. And so we work with the angel Raphael through Kelly channeling, and beautiful beings of light come in, and we do what we call the key codes, and we work through those, and activating our light bodies and releasing density so we can hold more light. And it's really been a beautiful turn. But as you know, January of 2024 for many of us was many of us got turned in different directions, right? Or we,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I'm sure you hear having a podcast. And I was told, right after January 1st, time to leave the class. And I'm like, what? But I was also excited because I knew that something, I was no longer the student, I was the master, and it's time for me to, so hence I'm speaking with you. And I said, but I'm a writer, and they said, now you're a speaker, get out there. So while I was in these classes with Archangel Raphael and Kelly channeling the angel Raphael, Kelly Kolodny, her name is, if anybody wants to look her up, Kolodney, amazing, pure color channel she is. And good friend of mine. And while I was doing this class the last 2 years, in 2022 in January, a friend messaged me one night, a coach on Instagram, and she's a wonderful lady. And she said to me, "I'm reading this amazing book, and you have to read it. You have to get a copy." And I said, "Well, what is it?" And she said, "Oh, they're the I Am discourses. Have you heard of them? The I Am discourses?" Yeah. So they're sacred texts, right? And I think there's 33 in total, but only 20 have been, I may be incorrect, but only 20 have been transcribed or, put into written form by Saint Germain Press and Foundation. That was, I think, started in the late 1930s. So these are sacred texts that they were channeled material in the 1930s, 40s, 50s, and some in the 60s by beautiful ascended beings of light like Yeshua and Archangel Michael and the seven mighty Elohim and, the great divine director, the gods of the mountain, and the list goes on and on. They each have their own cosmic beings of light. They have their own discourse, and Saint Germain, of course, who has several. And I stayed up for 2 years, I think, till 1, 2, 3 in the morning, making notes upon notes of these invocations. So what they told me and shared with me was, we need you all on earth to make the call. And I thought, what a wonderful, I had just finished my book, Now I Am, which is here.
Hey.
Now I Am. Yeah. And
Beautiful.
that was my awakening journey, which has amazing, has a little bit of the invocations also from the I Am discourses, because they kind of overlapped when I was finishing the writing of this. So at the end of each of these chapters, there are powerful invocations and affirmations that people can utilize. It's not just my own story, although we're all one. So you'll see a lot of yourself in it when you read it. It's my awakening journey that the divine wanted me to write. But these sacred texts, the I Am discourses, are all about the great I Am. And they said, we need you all on earth to make these calls because, we have divine freedom of will. And so they need us to meet them on the bridge halfway, so to speak, and make these invocations. So they started talking to me about the master powers of the universe. And behind me there, if you can see, is the Sacred Fire. I have it there. Just happened to pick this spot today. I didn't even think about it. And I'm like, oh, there's the Sacred Fire behind me. So the Sacred Fire is actually the love of God itself from the great central sun. And there it is literally called the sacred fire, love's immortal, indestructible purity from the great central sun that is always indestructible, unlimited power, and always victorious. And so nothing can oppose it. It's so powerful. And I'll tell you a quick story about that. When they were trying to convey to me, just the divine was trying to convey to me, my I am presence, just how powerful making these calls are for all of us to do. If there's any, I call it forth in, through, and around myself, in the atmosphere about me. In the morning, when I start my day, along with surrendering to my I am presence, I make sure I do that, because what it does is it does, excuse me, just integrating energy. So I have a bit of a cold, sorry. Does three things in one. Sorry. It dissolves and consumes, and this is the Ascended Master's terminology, not my own. It dissolves and consumes all that is wrong in a situation. It brings forth all that is right, and it protects all that is constructive. So it does all those instantaneously. And when you call it forth, and it actually comes forth from the sacred fire, the individual life stream of the sacred fire in each ascended being's heart. And we have that sacred fire in the atom of our physical heart as well. We just need to develop it, know that we have it. And one of the important things they also conveyed to me, the I am presence and the ascended host, was when you utilize the sacred fire and you call it with your intention into a situation or in, through, and around you, or your home or anything, you can even call it. Recently, they told me that I can call it forth whenever you get triggered and you have an inner child. You can call it forth into that inner child in the past that is associated with the emotion that is being reflected to that you're experiencing in that moment. And it is amazing. It does those three things at once. So it brings forth divine perfection. So one night, I just want to convey this because this is how they told me how powerful it was. I was laying in my bed upstairs in my home here, and I woke up in a lucid dream. And in this lucid dream, there were fire engines backed into my driveway. I'm in a townhome here. And down the street, there were fire engines. And on the left, there were fire engines on the right. And I thought to myself instantly, I need to call the sacred fire in, through, and around these homes and into every nook and cranny and crevice of these homes and everyone in these homes. So I did so. And then I went back to bed in my lucid dream. And then I woke up again. And then I felt in the same situation, same scenario. And I looked out to the right, and 4 houses down, the town home was burnt to the ground. And I called forth the sacred fire again, because I didn't know what was going on. And then I went back to bed in my lucid dream. Then I woke up in real life, in this reality, really woke up, sat up in my bed, and my actual fire alarm was going off in my home. Then I started to think, what is something going on in my house? What's going on? So I called it again. So I called it 3 times in, through, and around every house in this development. And coincidentally, there's 144 homes in this development, and that's a sacred number. So I had an opportunity to talk to Raphael, Archangel Raphael, a couple of days later. And my friend channeled him, the angel for me, him there's no sex, but, and Raphael said, yes, that was your I am presence alerted you to a situation, and you called forth the sacred fire, which is what they wanted you to do, and it averted a travesty. So the next day I saw a husband and a wife, a baby carriage with an infant, and a grandmother walking out of that house. So it did, as you know, it's multidimensional. So it's not just linear. It's not one thing. Yes, it did avert a travesty, but at the same time, it showed me just how powerful, they wanted me to get it, how powerful it is calling the sacred fire, immortal victory, in, through, and around a situation. I call it forth when I'm flying in a plane, a passenger. I call it forth in, through, and around the plane and into everything on the plane. And I surrender the flying of the plane to the I am presence. Because I figure, who do you want flying the plane, a human or the I am presence? I always want divine perfection flying the plane, right?
Yeah.
So But anyway, so from that moment forth, I knew the sacred fire was powerful, and everything I read in these discourses, every master had their own way of saying the same thing. And I said to Raphael one day, I said, Archangel Raphael, they're all talking about the sacred fire. And Raphael said, yes, the love of God. There is nothing else. So I was like, this is amazing. So what they wanted, they really hit home on several things. Surrendering, of course, to your I am is paramount, right? Because you want to put the I am in command of your whole life, reality, and experience, because it only serves your highest good at all times, whether you know it or not, it does. Secondly, they really wanted to hit home just how important the words I am are, and everything you say after those words. So I laid in bed one night as I was reading these sacred texts. And by the way, the Ascended Masters told me they're encrusted in sacred jewels in the Ascended Masters Octave of Light. They're the most, in the text, they proclaim to be the most sacred text on earth right now. And never has this wisdom been shared with humanity since before these discourses. And so they asked me to update them, so to speak. So I started to I had a publishing deal for 10 more books, right? So I was going to make 10 more based on the I Am discourses, just updating and simplifying them. And then I was pivoted, as in January, I was taken out of that class with my friend who channels Raphael, and to speak more and to do engagements and to channel myself, but divinely channel myself. But yeah, so they wanted to hit home the I am and what you say after it. So I was laying in bed one night and I asked, what does the AM stand for in I am? And I heard right away my I am came in and said, already manifested. I already manifested XYZ. So whatever you say after the words I am, you as the God you are, as the I am that I am you are, as the source you are, as a creator you are, they're so powerful. I already manifested. Well, so if you wake up in the morning, you have a headache and you say, oh, I am feeling, and you say something that is not in alignment with divine perfection, you misqualify the energy there. That comes to you in perpetuity until you use something like the violet flame or the sacred fire to, dissolve it and consume it, so it can go back to from whence it first came, back and fold back into the I am that I am, the perfection from whence it first came. So they said in the discourses, we want you to understand, we wring our hands, the master said. If we could brand you like you brand cattle, we would brand your consciousness with the words I am, so that every time you say I am anything, we just, they cringe, because they're like, if you just knew how powerful you are and what you're calling into your experience to experience when you say those words, you would be so super careful, even after the word I, they said. So my job now is, as part of my soul mission, is to spread the word about making the call. And so I started to say I was pivoted from the books, and now they want me to do, because they want the information out quicker, and it's going to be in a timely manner, but much quicker. They want it Oracle decks. So the same information will be done in several Oracle decks. So I've started that with my illustrator, Simona Menenti, who is the illustrator of my cover of Now I Am. And she's a wonderful, clear, pure channel for the divine as well. So we're working together on this project, bringing these forth. Hopefully September, October, they'll be ready to go. So people can use these, and we're going to have powerful invocations in there from these discourses that you can use as an Oracle deck or however you want to use them, but they'll be there in that form. So yeah. So I wrote one book already of the 10 I was writing, but it took me almost a year. So if you think about it, 10 books would take 10 years. And they're like, nope, sorry, we're pivoting you. You're doing an Oracle deck and we're getting it out by September. So I was like, okay.
Accelerated times right now, and that's such a perfect tool, so people can start using it and tuning in and tapping into their intuition around that and actually start using it, right? Start applying it
Exactly.
to their daily life right away with the Oracle deck. And it's
Exactly.
interesting because I also know that you've been really creatively immersed in this series of making the call. We often
Yes.
talk about getting the call, getting the wake up call or getting the calling that we need to follow, for our soul's work. but you're creating this, making the call. So can you share a little bit more about that one too?
Yeah. Okay. So making the call is all about, so we have, okay, so all of life gives all of it that it has to us. The sun shines every day for us. Mother Earth gives her plants, her water, her everything to us, her fire, her elements, right? And we use it all. And it's time we give back because we've been using it and using it and using it and not giving back, giving back. So the masters in these discourses talk about you need to give back. You can't just take, take, take. So, and we've all done it. It's just being aware of it now and what they call back, giving back to life, meaning making these calls. So when you call forth the sacred fire, what you're doing, that sacred fire, some call it the threefold flame. It's the blue for power, it's the pink for pure unconditional love, and it's the gold for wisdom. And it twirls together. It's right back there. And it's the love of God itself, as I said, from the great central sun. So when you call it forth into this realm where we are, from the Ascended Master's Octave of Light, from the I am that I am, or any ascended being of light who has the individual, their individual sacred fire expanded and lit and ready to go and all that stuff, on call waiting to, there's legions and legions of angels of the sacred fire, love's immortal purity from the great central sun, that just their main job, their only job is to wait for us to call them, to call. So what I do to give back, and that's why what you're doing is that fire is perfection, right? And it can only do good. So it's the love of God. So you're calling it into whatever situation, and it can only produce perfection. So like I said, the three things it does, it's interesting, it's a threefold flame, but it's the three things it does: dissolves and consumes everything that is, they say, wrong in the situation. We know there's no right or wrong, but this is the terminology to get us to understand. Yeah, it dissolves everything wrong in the situation, or you could say everything that is not in alignment with love. It brings forth the solution, that which is right, and then it protects everything that's already hunky-dory, already constructive within the situation. So it does that in an instant. In an instant, there's no delay. So it's so powerful. If you have an argument with a family member, or if you're having a decision you have to make, anything, the sacred fire is the unfed flame in our heart center. It is the violet consuming flame. It is the blue lightning. It is the cosmic light substance. It is the healing flame. It is the love and mercy flame. It is Archangel Michael's blue sword flame. It's all of it. I like to think of the sacred fire as the umbrella term, that it's all of it in there. Doesn't matter what activity you call upon. It is the freeing flame. They want us to know that it's the freeing flame. And they say it's the freeing power from the great central sun that acts through the sacred fire to all life. So when you make the call, you are serving the light. So as you serve the light, talk about abundance, as you serve the light and make this call of the sacred fire, I do this very simple call. If you don't know what to do, I call forth the sacred fire, immortal victory into this whole world, wherever it is needed, for the victorious fulfillment of the divine plan. Do your divine perfect work where I've sent you forth now and for all eternity at self-sustain. So be it, and so it is. So the beauty of the sacred fire is you don't have to know how it works. You just say, you can say, through my I am presence, I call forth this sacred fire into this situation. Maybe you have a fight with a spouse, into this situation. Do your divine perfect work where I've sent you forth. So be it, and so it is. I am grateful. So you just have to make the call. You don't have to know how it gets done. You just say, do your divine perfect work. And it goes, okay. And it goes right in. And it's that powerful and that easy to do. I call it forth when I'm sick or going through integration of light. I call it forth into my physical body, into my outer self, all my conditions, my whole world, my thinking mind, my feeling world, my physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, energetic, etheric beings, the bodies. Sky's the limit. I call it forth into all my cells, DNA, blood vessels, muscles, tissues, all systems in my body, all my energy fields, my auric field, my chakras, my whole chakra system, my pranic tube. You can call it forth into anything and it will clear you. It just dissolves. It brings it back, it enfolds it back into the perfection that it always has been. So what we do is, as humans, not I can't say, you know, I've done it in the past, and we all at some point, I can only speak for myself. Everything is always perfection. Life is always perfection. We're the ones who sometimes misqualify it. They call it misqualifying energy. So it needs to be requalified, right? Back to the perfection it always, from whence it came, that it always is. And so, so the sacred fire does that. The violet flame does that. And so this is the age of the violet flame, the age of the I am, the age of Aquarius. And Saint Germain's leading the way, and Yeshua and the great divine director, who is a mentor, I believe, of Yeshua and also Saint Germain at one point, and maybe still is. These great cosmic beings of light, they talk about lending us their consciousness. What they mean by that is they're lending us their sacred fire from the love of their own heart flames. When we call upon the sacred fire, whoever hears it, they're like, they come right away. It could be a master, it could be an ascended angel, it could be, it doesn't matter. It's not our business to know. We just call it forth, and whoever hears it comes, and they decide, and they bring it forth into this realm. See what they're telling us, we need to bring their Ascended Master Octave into this realm to lift it up, right? The only way is through the sacred fire. That's it. The violet flame. And
One
that's
thing to know. Yes.
and it's the only way you can make your ascension too. And they say no master has made their ascension without being enfolded in the sacred fire.
Ah, yes. So the number one takeaway in all of this is invoke the sacred fire.
Invoke the sacred fire and watch what you say after you say I am, and surrender to your I am. Yeah. That's all I got. That's what I got today.
Well, thank you. Yeah. And that, I mean, goes in all directions of time, right? This is
Oh
all
yeah.
you need.
Yeah.
It's what we're saying. What they're
That's
saying is
all
this
you
is all
need.
you need. Yeah.
That is
Every
all you, that's what
situation,
Jesus used
every
to make this.
condition. Yeah.
That's what Jesus used. All the masters in the I am discourses, they say this is what we use. It's actually the discourses are manuals on how the masters achieve their ascension, basically through the master powers of the universe, like the sacred fire and the violet flame, et cetera, et cetera. But all you need, the big catch-all is the sacred fire. So, you know, I weeded through all this stuff and I was like, that's it. It's a sacred fire. But and it's important, you know, they're saying it's important, you know, it comes from God. This is from God, the love of God. God is the sacred fire, and that's what you're calling for. It won't work if you don't know, you know, you have to know your God too, summoning it, right? Because I tell people you can't sell cars unless you know you're a car salesman. You can't use sacred fire and call it forth into some situation unless you know your God doing it and you're that powerful. You're one with the sacred fire. You're one with the I am that I am, and you can call it's your privilege and your authority to call it forth. It's almost a duty to call forth that perfection into this realm, to requalify all the energy we've all misqualified, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So
Ah,
how are we doing on time?
oh, fantastic. Oh, we're doing great on time. And I mean, that's it, right? That's all we need to do. Invoke the sacred fire, the I am presence. And yeah, we can use different tools like the books and the oracle cards and different things that are tangible for us, you know, to be able to get our hands on, so to speak, like you did, like through multiple books, just devouring that and then devoting your life to learning and implementing and integrating all of this, right? And speaking out on it, being able to express the full expression of who you are and really step into your spiritual sovereignty and helping others to do the same, right? So that we can co-create global harmony again, that we can harmonize, right? Instead of being out of order, basically.
It starts with making the call. So as you make the call, you're giving back, you're serving the light by bringing perfection of the sacred fire, the love of God into this realm to zap, if you will, any kind of discord, right? So you're like a little zapper. You're zapping with your little magic wand, with your sacred fire, all the discord. It's so powerful. It's not even, and as I read and they kept showing me, I'm like, why didn't you show me this before? You know what I mean? That was my question. And they said, because by cosmic law, we can't release this to you until you achieved a certain amount of, for lack of a better word, saying it, trying on your own, your dedication and your this. You
Well,
had to
thank you.
prove that, and now you get the keys to the kingdom, and we
Yay!
show you that, not the cliff notes, but you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, but
Well,
it's
talk
all about
about
the I
making the
am and this.
call. How would
What's that?
people call you? How would they connect with you if they want to know more? They want to get, they're
Yeah.
interested now. What can they do to connect with you?
So you can, kimbarder.com is my website, and you can message me on that. That's the best way. I'm also on Instagram, at Kimberly Barder. Yeah, those are the best ways. I'm on Instagram a lot, and also TikTok, but mostly Instagram, and mostly my website. And yeah, that's best way to do it.
All right, perfect. I'll make sure all of those links are in the show notes so people can instantly
Thank you.
connect. And of course,
Thank
my information will be in there too on my website, and even some free resources for you below. So make sure you check that out. Kim, is there anything else that you want to share or that you feel is coming through and being channeled to share right now?
Just watch what you say after the words I am. If you knew how powerful it was, that's the last thing they're leaving me with, is just start saying affirmation. I am worthy. I am deserving. I am, because we are always emitting that frequency of perfection, because we're God itself. We are the I am that I am. So
Yes.
anytime, and the I am is instantaneous. It's instantaneous in its response to you when you intend for something. There's no lag, right? The only lag is a belief system that may be in place that you put in place. Maybe you feel unworthy, or maybe you feel, I talk to people about, it's like you're sitting at a table at a restaurant, and the waiter is the I am presence, God, the universe. And it takes down everything you say. And you say, I choose and intend, I am healthy, whole, and complete. And it only says yes to you. Yes, you are. So it goes to the kitchen to get you a plate of healthy, whole, and complete. But halfway to the kitchen, you have a thought, and you think, but am I worthy of that perfect health? And then it comes back. It doesn't go through the kitchen door. It says, you just placed another order. So I'm giving you a plate of unworthiness. So you can experience that now. That's how it works. So you have to retrain it's like almost like, seeing, unfortunately, the tigers in the zoo, they walk around, they carve a path. They've walked so many times around a circle. It's like we're going the other way now. We have to carve it. So these invocations, making the call, and there's so many invocations and affirmations that I'm going to be putting out with the decks. But when you make these calls, you are rewiring your subconscious. You're making that new path, and you're telling the universe that you are worthy, and you know who you are. And it's about that. It's about repetition too. You got to get the momentum of the energy going. And so I've been doing that for the last 2 years when they dropped them in my lap, literally. And I was eating it all up, to tell you the truth, because there's not one, and I encourage people to check out the I Am discourses. There's not one sentence. I can't find one, I'm not even exaggerating, not one sentence in those sacred texts that is not important and profound. And, I almost felt like I was rewriting everything, because it was so profound. I had to write everything in my notebooks, as I was going.
Well, you
And
are, and now you're updating it.
now I'm
Yeah.
which is a privilege, and I'm grateful for that too. So it's all about getting as many of us to make these calls. But as you do this, you are infinitely divinely blessed. That's your key to abundance. As you give back to life that you're taking from, right? As we do that, we're healing the planet, we're healing ourselves, and we're also blessing ourselves, because there's only one of us here in truth. So as you give, you call forth a sacred fire into a situation, or into the world, or into, I call it forth in, through, and around the situation between Palestine and Israel, and Russia and Ukraine, and into all the energy connected to those situations to do its divine perfect work. I call it forth, for example, into all the waters and molecule of waters on this planet of Mother Earth, in and around the planet Mother Earth. I call it forth into every piece of soil on and around the planet Mother Earth, into all the beings of the elements and the powers of nature. When you do that, the beings of the elements, powers of nature, the fairies and the elves, they become really good friends with you, and they help you a lot. So, because as you serve, you're serving yourself. There's only one of us here, right? So sky's the limit how you can use a sacred fire. It's that powerful, and there's not one thing you can't use it for, not one thing. So Yeah.
So profound,
It's,
so powerful, and I love that. And then
and
also
so
being conscious
simple.
of the
Yeah.
I am, because it establishes identity and what we identify with as well.
You have to know, you have to start at the top. It's almost like you can't get all these concepts and do all this invocations unless you know who you are saying them. You have to know your God itself, that you're a powerful master creator of your own reality, creating reality at will. And you have to know your God in action. The I am is God in action at all times, never stops. And so when you know that, then you can say these I am that I am. And as the I am that I am that I am, I intend, command, demand. I'm the victory of calling forth. Oh, one other thing. I'll tell you real quickly. One night I was sitting somewhere in the bathroom. I'll be honest. I heard go pick up. They have pamphlets to the like little addendums to the I am discourses, and I have a stack of them, kind of like information added. They added, and I haven't gone through all of them yet. There's just so much material. And I heard pick up and I said, which one? Doesn't matter. Pick one. You'll pick the right one. I said, okay. So I picked out a little pamphlet, 5x7. I opened it up, and it was all about beloved cosmic victory from Venus. And he introduced himself. He said, I am Saint Germain's, brother. I am victory, and he is freedom. He's the freedom flame of the violet flame, and they go hand in hand. You can't have freedom without the victory of freedom. And he said to me, I want to tell you something. By definition, victory, that I am, is the energy of completion. So when you add to your invocations or intention setting the word victory, you say, I intend, command, demand, I am the victory as the God you are, and you proclaim that, it has to complete itself by its definition. Victory is the energy of completion. And so he's beloved, mighty cosmic victory from Venus. So he's lending us his energy of victory. And when you acknowledge him and you acknowledge his energy of the law of victory itself, you just say, I intend, I acknowledge the law of victory itself and beloved mighty cosmic victory. When you acknowledge he exists, he will graciously share with you his energy of victory. So when you say, I intend, command, demand, I am infinitely abundant, victoriously so, wow, that's another kicker to your affirmation, because it must complete. So I was like, that's awesome. So, so it's been an awesome journey meeting these ascended beings of light and working with them as they introduce themselves to me and their own specialties, and how they want to assist humanity. So yeah, victory. You can add that to your intention setting.
Let's do it. Let's do
If you choose, your choice.
that. Yeah, thank you so much, Kim. I really appreciate everything that you shared. It's been really helpful, really powerful, and really profound. And I really appreciate the tools that you've given.
Thanks so much for having me on. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
it was fun. It was
Yeah,
fun.
it was fun. It was fun. Thanks so much.
You are welcome. And thank you so much, each and every one of you that have been tuning in to Awaken and Ascend. Love to hear your comments. Maybe you'd even give us a thumbs up so we can reach a wider audience and share this with them as well. Would love to see you back next week on Awaken and Ascend every Wednesday here at 3 p.m. Pacific. See you again next time. Bye for now.